Let me just introduce myself. My name's Callum Souther. I'm 24. I'm from Edinburgh, Scotland. My alias is SoundBoi. I've been playing competitively 3 to 4 years. Been playing the same character, Cody, the whole time. So I think in terms of Cody's evolution across the seasons competitively, I really think that he started off as quite a sort of mid-tier, not exactly a great pick when he was released. But over the course of the seasons, he's been buffed and buffed and buffed. And I think when they finally released the second set of V skills, when he gave him the sway, that really reversed a lot of matchups that weren't typically in his favor, that just became massively in his favor. And I really think that he shot into kind of under the radar, but definitely like competitive prominence then. And then now, obviously, final patch, he got buffed again, and he's probably the strongest he's been. In terms of my competitive showings with him, first sort of top 8 back in the day with versus fighting was I think that was pre sway anyway, but he's still he struggled sort of back then, but he always had a bit of strength. He's always had really high damage. He's always had like robbery in the V triggers, 2-bar V trigger the whole time. Really good backdash. Like, I've always felt he was strong, but he was never quite there. But I really, really feel that he's like top 10 right about now, for sure. Yeah, so one thing that I do as a player is I very much watch a lot. And I've noticed John Takeuchi specifically very much doing damage with Cody over in his region, over in Topanga League. And I kept an eye on him when he picked it up the first time. And obviously it didn't look too comfortable at the beginning, but he's really, really found his way with him completely. And I think people are really beginning to see through his efforts. You know, as much as it pains me that it's not my efforts, but people are starting to see through his efforts that the character is really scary. He's got some really scary buttons, really high damage, and I think people are just beginning to realize now that he's a real threat. Yeah, so my sort of tournament experience so far for this one, I was dreading it. I can't lie to you, absolutely dreading it, because my initial bracket was filled with my friends, all of them. So I had to play a guy from my locals at the beginning who I've helped over the years. I had to play Frost, who's a very close friend, very good training partner, and then I had to play Ender, who's like, again, a friend that I've made since he started coming up. And that was my initial pool, and I was absolutely heartbroken that I had to play them. But I won, so I suppose there's no friends in the CPT. I'll take that. I did a little bit of prep beforehand, but I was dreading it, and then obviously made it to top 16 winner side. Really happy with that. Having to play 4 fills now. Falk is kind of an awkward matchup. I don't think it's particularly bad, but it's a little bit awkward. But I prepped for it. I had a whole list of notes written down that I was referring to just before going in. Managed to execute it, which was fine. And yeah, top 8 winner side somehow made it. Yeah, so I did play Problem X the last CPT. I had to play him twice. So in the game to make top 16 winners, the last CPT was me versus Problem X. I managed, and I can't exactly lie to you, for the first time ever to beat Problem X, to get into that winner side. I think I mainly utilised V-Shift, I think, quite well there. But he, in the run back in top 8, just had my number. I did his research, just completely killed me. So this is a run back from that last time, where I'm going to have to adapt to the changes he made, obviously adjust the game plan over the course of tonight and tomorrow, and hopefully try and win. In terms of my sort of local community, I kind of break it down into two sort of sections there, because obviously I'm part of the Scottish scene. Been working out of Edinburgh, and I travel through to Glasgow quite frequently, been up to Aberdeen quite frequently, and I've had a lot of really good experiences with those guys. It's a proper grassroots sort of environment there, right old school. And over the course of the years, I've had lessons from proper old school guys. I've had like Brian, big help, massive help in me getting better. Still to this day helps me regularly, and just a lot of the local guys that you'd never think of that are quite strong players, just sort of coming together and working together. Like, we had a period of time where we were running locals, but what we were doing is we weren't playing games, we were analysing players from our local with matches, and then we were all coming together to come with like a game plan for that player, and these were our own guys, and we basically worked on each other like that, which was really, that was Suleiman's idea, and again, another massive help in my come up. And obviously a massive on the Scottish scene, massive, very proud of it. And a sort of side to that is I have an online community as well, which is sort of my Discord channel, and it's filled with a couple of close friends who are from all over, and we very, very regularly practice together, come up with ideas together, we're always writing notes, and I've always got that on hand, thankfully, on my phone. and I just refer to it regularly. And it's a combination effort. It's not just me. I'm the result of other people's work. So I'm happy to be that, you know. Yeah, I think in terms of Cody's strength this season, I think really what's changed is a couple of the bad matchups got nerfed. So I didn't think Karen, particularly last season, was great. It was winnable, but a bit more whiff punishable normals. So you can definitely play around with that, absolutely. Because not everyone's going to be absolutely perfect. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to get that whiff punish, which is great. Manat as well. Manat's anti-air got a little bit worse, which originally for me I used to think was quite bad, but with that change, plus with adjustments to certain parts of the game plan, I really feel that's gotten a lot better for us as well. Poison got a little bit of a hit in terms of our hurt box, which I've not been able to showcase quite yet, but there's a few things you can do with that, which makes that also a little easier. As well as, I think a big issue that Cody had, very specifically to V-Trigger 1, but it does apply to V-Trigger 2, is the anti-air game was a little bit suspect. V-Trigger 1's a really slow anti-air, it's very prone to trading, but now that it floats in the air, you get conversions even on trade, so you're always going to win out, basically. So the anti-air game is now quite a threat. You can't just trade and be like, yeah, I don't mind. As well as they added, obviously, the crouch heavy punch juggles to the knife as well, so they've made that aspect of it way more viable. There's matchups that you would have preferred that before, but you're like, it's not really too much of a big deal. Now it's absolutely the one to pick. Like Karen, you go knife, 100%. And that's really, really, it's been small things, but they've added up and really pushed him up. Because I thought last season he was on the edge of top 10. With these little changes, he's absolutely in there now, definitely. So in terms of approaching Problem X, I mean, such a hard ask. I mean, the guy is just a genius. Someone I respect greatly. I've played a lot of games with him. He's helped me as well on the come up as well. And absolutely hammered me. So I'm going to have to really do my research. But I'm going to, what I think, what I need to do, without giving too much away, is I need to refer back to how I played against him in that first game last year. See what I did well, and see what I can adjust, because things went wrong there, and I need to see what I can adjust. As well as, and without going into too much detail, I think I need to start studying some other people that play him as well, because there are things that I've noticed that other players do. One in particular that has quite a decent success rate against them with a specific style, and I think I'm going to try and adopt some of those strategies into my gameplay for tomorrow.